the child with her, and she escaped to the East End. Eventually, the child found its way back, her way back, by a circuitous route to Sicket, and Sicket arranged for her upbringing in France with some friends there. Mary Kelly fell in with a group of prostitutes, and eventually, completely down and out, they resorted to blackmail. She shared her dangerous knowledge with them, and they blackmailed someone closely associated with the case. The fear was that these women who were walking around the East End knew of Eddie's conduct and were therefore in possession of information that could topple the throne. So like Annie Crook, they had to be silenced. And the Prime Minister put the operation into the hands of a man he trusted very greatly, because that man had been very closely associated with silencing Annie Crook. Salisbury, I'm sure, never wanted anybody murdered. He put the case into the hands of this man, as I say, whom he trusted. This man decided the women must die. To have them certified as lunatics, he thought would be dangerous in the extreme. One lunatic was bad enough, but if you had 4, 5, 6 lunatics all crying out the same story, somebody was going to see a pattern somewhere.
Right.
And you know, there were plenty of very high-ranking, articulate politicians around who would have been eager to see that pattern and use it against the throne and the government in power. Victoria knew nothing about this.
Right.
I mean, she wouldn't have condoned murder or silencing in any way at all.
According to the basic theory, he made a secret marriage, a marriage witnessed by Mary Kelly, who tells her friends of this secret marriage. The friends she tells are Holly Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, and Catherine Eddowes. It's thought that this secret marriage will lead to an abdication crisis, and so a great plot is born to conceal this secret marriage. As part of this plot, it is necessary to murder these 5 women. The plot involves the police, the Freemasons, and the royal surgeons of William Gull. That was the basic theory. Then somebody went one step better. It wasn't over a secret marriage the murders took place. The murders took place because the Duke of Clarence was having a homosexual affair with Montague Druitt, the first of the police suspects. Okay, they took that on board. Then somebody went one step further. The Duke of Clarence wasn't just a homosexual, he was a transvestite. Like nothing better than dressing up as an East End prostitute, getting on the London Underground, travelling down to the East End to commit the Jack the Ripper murders. You can get any number of permutations on the Duke of Clarence as Jack the Ripper. I've even seen a 4-part comic work in which the Duke of Clarence, as Jack the Ripper, fights it out with Dracula for the love of Mary Kelly. Apparently Dracula lived in the East End of London before moving to Transylvania.
I think for all its invention, the Royal Massage.
Sicket told his son, and his son told me, that the women were murdered according to Freemasonic ritual. That much of their ritual is based on murder. They are a secret society. On the whole, they are a society which does good, much good to charity, but they are a secret society of men who meet and perform rituals. Some of their basic rituals are the mime of mythical murders, some taken from the Bible, some taken from Egyptian myth. And these murders are the cutting, or let's take one example. The sign of the entered apprentice, the lowest rank of Freemasonry, is the cutting of the throat from left to right. All the Ripper victims had their throats cut from left to right. At another degree, the mime for initiation is for the victims' heart and vitals to be taken out and thrown over the left shoulder.
Stephen, why this particular mime? I mean, where does this begin, this whole story of why do they go through the mime of it?
Well, simply to preserve the secrecy of their order. A Mason swears on pain of terribly violent death
This kind of death.
Yeah, all these various kinds of death, and it varies from level to level, that he will retain the secrets of his order and never betray another Mason. When you've reached a certain level in Masonry, you swear never to betray another Mason, whatever he is engaged in, whether it be right or wrong. That covers murder, the lot.
But in real life, I'm afraid it really doesn't hold water. But when you look at the way it's done in the movie, you've got Jack the Ripper as Dr. William Withy Gold, the illustrious Victorian doctor, and he's actually doing the murders really at the behest of Queen Victoria to cover up this terrible secret, which, if it leaks out, is going to perhaps cause the downfall of the crown. I mean, it's that dramatic. So yes, it's a wonderful story. It's a good theme for them to work on, and as I say, great dramatic appeal, and it's the stuff of Hollywood. So I think from that point of view, the movie is going to be hugely entertaining, and certainly based on something that's it's not a new theory that's been cooked up for the movie. It's certainly one that does have a basis in Ripper lore, if you like. So from that aspect alone, I think people are going to find it fascinating and very interesting. This is a shot of Dorset Street, which in fact was the scene of the last murder of Mary Kelly, just on the left here at Miller's Court. Gives a good idea of what the strip.
Jack the Ripper was not one man, but three.
Are we looking at three actual rippers, three people who had knives and scalpels in their hands and did the cutting, or are we talking about one specialist and two accomplices?
We're talking about two killers and one accomplice.
Interesting.
To what extent the one accomplice participated, I've not been able to discover. It's not possible ever to discover that.
So let us talk about the one accomplice. I want to know who this is. I want to know about this man. Well, there were three men. There were no women involved.
Oh no, there were three men. Before I name any names, why don't I take you to where the Chief Ripper is today?
It's a bleak place, Stephen, here.
Yes, like a Bronte novel, isn't it?
Oh, my word.
Cold enough. But this is the graveyard of Thorpless Oakham in Essex. And here lies Jack the Ripper.
This grave?
That's it.
William Withy Gold.
That's him. The man in charge of the Ripper operation. And the man who committed 4 of the 5 murders.
So the man out of everyone's bad dreams, the one you imagine had the cloak, the guy who held the scalpels and did all the frenzied cutting, this is the man.
That's it? Yes. He was put in charge of it by Lord Salisbury. He'd already committed Annie Elizabeth Crook to an asylum. So he was, as I say, he was already involved, and they wanted somebody to silence the other women who successfully. He was a high-ranking Freemason, and then something strange happened. He was an incredibly bizarre man. He was of a very strange turn of mind. He decided that it would be just so dangerous to commit the other women that they had to be killed. And so that's how he went about it. He had them hunted down by his two accomplices, his two helpers, and he killed them in a Masonic way.
So a man of supremely high medical standing, the man who did the cutting, the Chief Ripper, lies there.
Yes. Physician in ordinary to Queen Victoria.
Jack the Ripper.
Sickert said that the man who drove the hansom cab was John Netley. He was the man who had previously ferried Prince Eddie to and from Sickert's, between Sickert's studio and the palace. So he was already involved. Yeah. Whether or not he was a Mason is in doubt. Sickert didn't know. But he certainly wanted to get in with powerful people and would do anything to be able to, give himself a step up on the ladder.
Right.
So he was recruited to drive the The Death Carriage of William Gull.